Story so far. After some initial jockeying around, we had a major call to arms. Both armies ended up gathering around here, had a sort of non-conclusive battle. Technically the Ghibellines lost, but not they were able to get out of there safely with some of their force. Now you can see they're quite reduced. That's because of some maneuver issues that happened a couple of vids ago. And what's happened since then is the Guelphs are moving forward. Well, they're pushing deeper in and they're threatening Siena. I can't do a call to arms because the victory points are too close. Siena is not really willing to defend themselves. Meanwhile, the Ghibellines have moved up and are sieging Colle's last remaining seat. I don't think that knocks him off the board, but it does make it so that he can't muster back on while those are conquered and held by the enemy. If those got rubbled, I think he can. Again, I have to look up the specifics of it. There's not a hell of a lot I can do about it with the Guelphs. The fact that they've... so the terrain here is very tough to deal with. And the fact that I curved around this way means that I'm not in position to do anything up here. I can try to cut my way back, but I'm really way behind enemy lines. The only thing that's keeping me supplied is Arezzo over here. But the Ghibelline supply lines are also a threat. If Siena falls, that pretty much cuts their supply. It goes down to here for Provenzano. Astenberg has one here. Luckily, it's a seat, so it provides 4 provender. Just because you have that card up, you have huge quantities of supply stocked up everywhere at all the seats. But only the Lord whose seat it is can pull the provender out of there. So you have to time things differently based on, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's a much more complicated supply situation. You know, people talk about OCS as complicated in supply. This just blows it out of the water in terms of the complexity of the thinking you have to do. You can't just throw a bunch of supplies in a general direction and just keep pumping, you know, get a feel for what you need and keep pumping it in. You might know what you need and just not be able to arrange for it. And you have to pre-program what you're doing. So it's all tricky there. All right. I'm tired as shit because I'm trying to get my sleeping schedule onto some kind of level where I can like actually make it to my jury duty. So I got another day to try to arrange this, and then it'll probably be canceled. But I don't know, because this is municipal court, and I get the feeling that this is just designed to hose people more than the county court was. The county court, you know, they gave me a bus pass for the day. I don't think they required that I not wear shorts. You know, I'm gonna have to walk there in the middle of summer, 90-degree weather probably, and nah, you're not allowed to wear shorts. We expect you to be professional. Fuck. Half the places I work don't expect me to be that professional. All right. Within the last decade or so, I could work naked, but that's a different matter. But you know, but I'd go on sites, on locations and stuff, and you know, I'd show up in my business casual, whatever I'm supposed to wear, and everybody's there in shorts and sneakers and everything. I'm like, I wish I'd known. For good or ill, I ended up taking a couple hours nap. That means I'm going to be getting to bed late. I'm going to be fucked up for whatever this jury duty thing is. See if I can make it, you know. I mean, it's the best I can do, right? Set an alarm and everything, but there's no guarantees. Anyway, here we are on the levee. And it's not tomorrow, or it is tomorrow, but only because it just passed midnight a little while ago. Here we are in another levy phase. The Guelphs are able to levy everywhere. The Ghibellines nowhere. Heat and frost, hold before feed in summer or winter for wastage. Yeah, so this is a summer turn. Maybe both people will end up playing it. I don't know. They've been holding that card for a long time. It looks really useful. I just can't remember. And Volterra. Play for Treachery at Volterra to succeed for 0 coin, or if Volterra Guelph, to shift Pisa, Cylinder, or Service 2 boxes. Pisa is a Ghibelline. Volterra will probably be near it, I would guess. I don't see it. There it is. Well, I'm not likely to be close to Volterra, but I have to take it this turn. I can discard it later. I'm getting quite a deck there. Over here. Greek Fire. Play on Besieging Lord to reduce 1 siege marker. Remove one of his units and discard one of his This Lord capabilities. This would be really useful if I remember to do it. It is at any point. If he has one of them, he could hit this. That's at 3 siege. I'm assuming it was at 4. A better paid death. Shift Cylinder or Service of any 2 Ghibelline lords who are not a Podesta, 1 calendar box, or this levy give 1 lordship plus 2. Yeah, I certainly don't want to give a lordship plus 2. So, are we particularly interested in getting Pisa and or Siena on the board? I mean, not really. Siena would show up to defend what he needs to. Is that wise? I'm not able to muster. But I would be able to muster if the siege doesn't go. Okay. So, I don't want lordship, that's for sure. So, what if we do the guy we got to pay this turn? We have money for him, but... And I guess the other guy, although I would rather do him at some other point, but it's 2 Ghibelline lords. I basically will have all these cylinders available by the next time that I might be able to levy. So this is clearly the thing we do. That was 2, right? Pulled 1 here? Yeah. All right. There are people who need to be paid. Coley needs to be paid. And Ferenz needs to be paid. Okay. Well, we will pay Ferenz. What about Coley? Do we put him back on the board? See, he's got a 3-turn recycle rate. He's got a decent sized force. Let's move these forward. Screwed up. These have to go first. Then these. Yeah. But I'll pay the buck for Coley too, but I'm running out of money. I'm running out of money fast. I think I let Coley disband. I don't know. Man, I could take Siena this turn. No, I gotta pay him. I gotta pay him. But you can see there are some good hard choices of a sort that, like, there's not a whole hell of a lot you can do about them, right? Like, I made the choice to come around this way. I'm running out of cash. I don't have anywhere I can tax. I don't have a way to get money. I don't have any loot. Somebody has loot, don't they? Yes. But he's not at a place where he can spend loot, except as food. So, you know, I'm in a situation where both Florence and Cole are going to disappear next turn if I don't figure something out, which is important. I don't know if I'm going to remember it, but I have basically no money amongst any of this force, which means it may well disband and open things up so that the Ghibellines are freer for several turns while these forces reconstitute. And the commune, which is the majority of my force, is just gone until the next time both sides go to war. Yeah, it's kind of an evening factor because of Siena. Alternatively, I could run back to Arezzo, or maybe get to here by cutting through, but you know, that's not going to be easy. I mean, I can do bypasses, right? But I don't own that either. So I'm going to take my shot at Siena. If I can take it, I knock a lot of power out of the Ghibelline base. That should be very good, but chances are I'm not going to get it. Clever. Cole has one of these, which means that if he does a ravage on Siena, I get two loot out of that. So if I do take Siena, I can actually keep both my major forces, or at least one of them, in the field. You know, maybe one for 2 turns or something along those lines. During Orvieto, who starts down here, well, one of these two. I just don't feel like that's terribly useful to me right now. It will be useful as a possible reinforcement, maybe a combine or something, after I have to disband stuff or whatever. Instead, what I've done is taken carts almost everywhere, but I took Ballestaria here and here. If need be, I can assault Siena, and those will help. The thing. Play a pawn besieging a stronghold. I could just charge up and assault this. That might be my best move. Because walls -2 only gives me 3 rounds of assault, though, which is not pleasant. But it gives me 2 siege reg to begin with. This is Volterra. I have another town here, Grosseto. That's all the way over here. Yeah, we really kind of have to get into their nasty area. But I'd like to use some of my hold cards. A quick storm on Siena might be the best thing. And there's nothing for the Ghibellines to do. Which means we look down at Call to Arms, because they're busy sieging. I look at the Call to Arms, and we're not in a position that fulfills it. I don't remember the 3 conditions. They don't list it here. That's really bad. It should be in one of these sidebars or something. Like, well, here's friendly locale. Yeah, that's something that I feel like you remember pretty often. Here, I'm looking at the sequence of play, and I feel like I should be finding something there. Podesta muster. This is useful. It's extra information that's important. Feed. Yeah, it's pretty important. I've had to look that up. Victory. Yeah. It's helpful to have it in front of you because otherwise you might just forget, hey, how do I win this game after all? However, I don't think it's of as much importance as what really needs to be here as far as I'm concerned, which is how you can, if a side can and opts to. It doesn't give me the can. It gives me a rules reference into it, which is great. And if there wasn't so much being used, you know, and it really does have to be here. It has to be on the sequence of play. I think I would get rid of the campaign victory because my feeling is that this stuff is so intrinsic that you will know it. You will remember it. Similarly with friendly locale. It's so intrinsic, you will just know it. Honestly, this is already covered here. Do we really need when we have so much detail to have a short version of it. Maybe the short version should be on the map instead. You know, I don't know. But yeah, it feels like some things were made as choices here that you kind of can't play the game unless you know, so... And you will know them very, very well. Right? But this particular thing, call to arms, is a specific condition, and I have to look it up every time. I know I don't meet it, I think, right? I know there's the victory point one, the 4 points of victory points. There's cards, and I think that's it. I think there's 2 things that require cards and 1 that's victory points. But I don't fucking remember. And I feel like there should be an ability here, but I know there isn't, so I'm not even going to look it up. Anyway, we flip from levy to campaign. I go upstairs and go back to playing Raid because yeah, it's part of why I took the nap, right? Like, oh look, it's going to be 3 hours until this event starts. And they all start. There's like one big thing that switches at 5 p.m. my time. And so I'm always there for that. Like, even on nights I go dancing, I have to be there for that. And then I play for about an hour and a half and get as much of that done as I can until I get back the next morning. But, and that's rough. But then the other thing is everything else changes over from like midnight to 4 a.m. or so, 4 or 5 a.m. It just all hits in that period. And it's like if it all hit in that period, I'd be happier because then I wouldn't have that, I wake up at like 4 p.m. and I'm like, well, I'll screw around for an hour and then play, and then it's nighttime, and I'm like, well, that fucking sucked. I lost my entire day because I was tired when I went to bed. It was daylight anyway. It's not like even when I'm not playing and I'm awake during the day like today, I didn't go outside. I barely fucking know what day it is. And I guess just sort of the dawn, basically, I suppose. I'm not seeing any color in the sky. Maybe it's still pre-dawn, I don't know. And I'd have to get up and do things at this hour if my duty's not canceled tomorrow. But being as stupid as I am, after taking that little nap or whatever, I ended up having a breakfast at around 3 in the morning, whatever, making myself some coffee. Just stuff that is not conducive to whatever I need to do. But that is normal and par for the course for me whenever something is disruptive to my patterns. Not like this is my pattern, right? But it's like whatever happens, I almost invariably make it worse for myself through fucking with my sleep habits. Anyway, here we are ready to start the campaign with the planning phase, and well, I guess I'll do that. Fuck up, maybe I don't. I kind of don't care because I've screwed up so much already, which takes a burden off, I guess, and maybe because I don't care about life and whatever. So, Arezzo to supply. I counted my supplies. I should be able to get to about, I should be getting 5 per with the carts and whatnot that I have. And that gets me to 15. I eat 7, which means I can do twice. So, move, siege, resupply, siege again. Now, maybe not, right? But because I may be storming at some when I start the siege, that may just be my choice. But that's okay. Then I saved 2 Lucas to go after Pisa. I don't think I'll succeed, but Siena is the big goal, and that's what we're aiming for. And we could just be hanging ourselves. However, we won't be out of the game because we got this butthead up here, no matter what kind of happens. I looked through the Arts of War cards here that the Ghibellines have. Greek Fire, play on Besieging Lord to reduce one siege marker, and remove one of his units and discard one of his this Lord capabilities. Great, whatever. But, and I assume I can discard one of these if I wish instead. But the thing with this is, I'm not sure what happens if there's only one siege marker. Does that drop it to a bypassed? I don't know. I'll look it up if it's important. I don't really care. Means I open up with a Provenzano who's going to siege this. I hope I take it. May or may not. I have enough food right now. And I'm doing an Astenberg. He can supply me, so that's kind of cool because he has easier supply than Provenzano does, so I wanted to go with that. I'm not creating a lieutenant because I want to use all my cards. Then I'm doing a treachery here, with which maybe I can take San Miniato. That got a little Enya in there, didn't it? And then I'm just alternating. Again, I don't have a great view of what I'm doing, but I also don't know what's going to be successful. And I may have to fall back on Siena and maybe relieve the siege there. Not this turn. I want to do it after, if they're sieging Siena, I want to do it after I can muster the Lord there, which I'm allowed to do even when it's besieged because he's a Podesta. Alright, we'll start flipping cards, but I gotta check my raid situation. I may set up some multi-battles while I'm down here. I was gonna play this. Place 2 siege, not 1, then storm up to 3 rounds, walls -2. Sounds great, right? Except where no other lord. I'm bringing all these other lords with me, so fuck. I did pull out this Greek Fire and put it there so that I note it. I'm probably going to use the other Greek Fire on Siena to try to delay things there, but yeah, not as pleasant as I had hoped. And now I've got to feed 7 food. 1 comes out of here, and then let's get 6 of these. That means I have enough to do another round of siege if I need to. We did a round of siege here. It did not work. And then I looked right after I found out it didn't work. Declared a siege action here, and this is currently a besieging lord. I didn't have to wait for that, but this is sort of optimal, right? Except I took a chance where 2 dice rolling for 4s. But it doesn't reduce it by 1, it reduces it to 1, and it removes one of his units. It's Asenberg. I get to choose which unit as the card player. There goes a connect, and discard one of his this lord capabilities. Boom! This is pretty harsh, man. Okay. Well, that makes the siege much, much uglier. It's at 2. Greek Fire's nasty. And then we have to eat. But we do get a siege marker back, but still not anywhere near as powerful as we had expected. Well, payback's a bitch, right? Let's see who's coming up here. It's another Firenze who has the 2 siege marker. I declare I'm going to siege. Do I want to wait? It's 3 dice here. I'm going to wait. Because 3 dice is a lot. But terrible things could happen. They do not. I don't know what this is kicking here for. He does get 2 siege markers, though, which may be more than I can handle, but he has to eat 7 food, and we're out everywhere else. So there goes that. Now we get the Astenberg Treachery. I have some money. I'm going to bid $2 on this and try to take it. That'll open up lots of room. Well, 1 space. Okay, not lots. But it opens up another thing for possible treachery when I take Siena. I want to use the card because it's a waste not to, but nothing comes of it. I don't have to feed her anything, at least. We come back here, it's another Arezzo. It is definitely time to grab some food because I don't have enough. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3 each. So I can get 4 food. That's 12. That ain't good enough. But I can do it again because I have 2 commands. That is good enough. Barely. Come back over here, we get a Provenzano. Well, now there's little reason not to do a siege unless Provenzano has better feeding opportunities. Provenzano, I can't feed with him. Astenberg is now my food supply coming from here, which because of this, since the seat is worth 4, even though it's a secondary seat, and we get a success. Pisses me off. I don't remember where it is. So I did the revolt against. The first one came up this. Close, but no cookie. Okay. But the next one came up one of these. And I know I've answered this before, but I don't remember anymore. So I look on the table. Revolt under tables must blah, blah, blah. Siena does not appear. Roll on table, blah, blah, blah. When the result names a locale, it doesn't. So these 3 bullets don't count. Now I get to submission. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. I wish it opened up. I guess it kind of does, but it's just really hard for me to see. Over an allegiance, the rolling side must, if able, select a stronghold marked with enemy allegiance that is eligible for revolt and at or adjacent to which the rolling side has a lord cylinder. And there are none. So I failed with that. I get a card. I can't take this treachery card. So, what do I have available? Well, I have Provenzano. And I get a second card. Siena's most likely to be in play as opposed to Santa Fiora. So I'll grab that one. Probably, I won't get to use it right away, obviously. All right, we're getting full here, so we flip. Yep, we got a feed. So we succeeded in the siege. We got our points. We're ahead on the massive pile of shit. And now we got a feed, which is not much. But it's all we have. Okay. Now I'm over here. I have enough food to go again. So I'm going to play a Fit Ends. However, it's time. It's time. Greek fire. Be nice to wait for the full roll, but honestly, I can't take a chance that Siena falls. So that is 2 of these. Remove 1 of his units. I get to choose which unit to take. Take a knight. And discard 1 of his capabilities. There goes the obnoxious one, just like he did to me. Great. And this goes away. And now he's rolling 3 dice at a 1, because Siena is particularly well defended. And obviously that's not going to happen. I only get 1 siege marker, just like the other guy did. And now I've got to spend, I guess, 7 food again. Well, that's not easy. Sure it is. Okay. Come back over. Got plenty of room on this side of things. We're at Astenberg. We need food. We need food badly. Astenberg goes back to here. I've got 11 carts. I can haul 4 per command. So I'll grab all 12 food. I don't think I want to move, do I? It's 12 food, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, shit. Hey, I'm laden anyway with that loot. I think, does the loot make me laden no matter what? I don't remember. And movement is rather late in the rules here. Where it belongs, but A lord with any loot on any way. So as long as I stay on the main roads, I'm okay even with loot, which is different from other games. We get a Luca. How's Luca's food? Luca is not overladen. I have 3. I would be able to pull 3 more food, then I would be laden and I couldn't move. So I will move to Pisa. I only have 2 commands. So we put our siege there. What is his deal? He has the war engineers, which allows him to add a marker to any size stronghold. So he can keep sieging and improving his chances even though he's only 1 lord with 3 units. But I do have to feed. All right. This is not looking very good for the Guelph side. I think they're in trouble at this point. We hit another Provenzano. Now, I peek at my other card. It's an Astemberg. Do I want... I can't relieve the siege right now. Do I want... Who's this yellow guy? He's actually yellow. This is interesting. This is a secondary seat for this guy. But it's originally a Guelph town. Didn't realize that. So Santa Fiora has like power in that town, which means if I had him, I could gather resources. Yeah, I'm super laden now. I could lieutenant this. Not yet, not now. And I don't know if there, I haven't recalled seeing a card that allows you to create a lieutenant. In Almoravid, there's a card that allows you to go in and out of being a lieutenant with a command, which would allow you to do cool things with your programming in a situation like this. Provenzano has no food. He has no way to get it, though. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I could. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. So I could grab 1 food from there per command. That doesn't seem worth it, but I don't know what does. I'm not in a good location. Like, I don't have food. I kind of fucked up. Anything interesting I can do? I think I'll grab my 1 food per location, per command. I think that's the best I can do. Not great. We get another Luca. Time to siege. Oh, Pisa's a 3 dice. We could ravage and supply. We want to add a siege marker instead, because this creates this interesting threat up here, and then I have to feed Luca. And yeah, everything is going to be unmusterable. There's not going to be a levy phase for any of these guys. This is the only thing that can do one. But that's sufficient that I can bring him in. For whatever that's worth. Astemberg has food. Might not be a bad idea to move to my seat where I could tax. It's still not optimal. I can only carry 6 food with me. So I discard a whole bunch of food and then have to eat 1. I have another command. I guess I supply. which with infinite capacity, I'll grab 4 more provender here. Again, I can't carry it, but whatever. And we come to the end of the line. Grow. Nothing is badly sieged. There's no ransom phase. It's not the end of the game yet. Oh, grow. This is the last turn of spring. Couldn't play the bad, the sort of attrition card. That only works in summer and winter. Okay, so what does that mean? Grow is enemy ravages are halved. Guelphs first get to remove Gibelline ravage markers. Take Pogio away. What's this back there? I hope I got my points right. I mean, it's not close enough that anything really happens. And then the Gibellines get to get rid of one. We'll get rid of this one. Alright. At least it's proportionally the same. Yeah, there's no repair is what I was saying. And now we hit waste, and there's definitely wastage. Noticed I moved the wrong guy here. No biggie. I get rid of provender on both of the Gibellines, but for the Guelphs, things are more problematic. Got rid of provender here, that's fine. I can resupply through Lucca. Got tons of capability there. Guido lost a cart, no biggie. But here, we're running into problems. Largely because I don't have a lot of capacity. I'm running low. Oh, he, I think, got rid of a card instead of his provender that he's got with no carts. He had to lose a cart. Oh no, he lost a card. Did I lose a cart here? I don't know. I don't know what I took, but yeah, I mean, I'm getting to a position where my supply lines are not good, and I'm not going to be able to get a surrender any longer because, well, Siena is likely to be mustered there. It's not an automatic. Yeah, card could come up and make it automatic with a levy for war, a call to arms, or whatever it's called. Does anybody want to throw anything away? Tau Company still exists. If I lost them, I would lose one of these. Probably don't want to do that. I think I'm happy with the other cards I have. Might want to get rid of one of these, huh? I'll think about that, and I'll come back if they do. But otherwise, we're moving back to levy over here. But first, 6.0 scenario end. Yeah, I should probably do this after I look at the cards, but I just want to do this. Use the end to move the block marker after the scenarios. Yeah. You helping me out here? 6.0 runs through all these A, B, C, D, E, F. It should tell you. I don't know. So this is the big one. At the start of each levy, beginning with June, July, roll 1 die. On a 1 through 3, put the end marker on 16, or if already on the calendar, slide it 1 box left, lower. Okay, so we've got a 50-50 chance of having an end start to be defined. It is not. This will stay back here, and we'll have to check each turn. We're just not going to know when the end is. With Astenberg, he was overloaded, which means he went 1, 2, 3 commands. He wasn't able to grab food here, so all that provender's gone. He grabbed 4 from this location. Couldn't get from anywhere else. This is his other home. Discard. Oh, this was one that got discarded during the wastage. But I did discard this because I may want these siege towers right away next turn. And I'm not going to be using surprise right away. I could have used it, say, here. Didn't want to. Luca is not a very big force. But yeah, there we have it. So that's the end of this one plugging in. Probably not going to be back down before I sleep again. But I don't know because I'm wired on coffee now. All right, well, I snoozed for a couple hours, kind of with a video playing, like a 3-hour video. And that wasn't one of mine. I wouldn't watch my own. Even though my voice apparently puts people nicely to sleep. But let's start the levee and see what happens. I kind of think I might end up sitting outside and reading another book. I got something that's kind of big. Doctors, hold in battle or storm for Firenze and Arezzo teach restore. I think they have a copy of this. Poggio Bonizio. Play if it's Guelph to give the Lord Lordship +3 or add 1 treachery. Well, if I'm not going to be able to get it anytime soon, I'll probably discard this card. Let's see. Because this is a function that I do use, as you can see here. However, you know, it also trims the deck. Sort of a CDG type concept there of, maybe I don't want that in there, right? You know, I don't know. Is it the same on the other side? No, it's not. So, you know, it's kind of funny. Like, I might want to replace this Balistrari with this one because the hold event is better. But I can't just take this one. I've got to discard that one, swap them out. That kind of thinking is beyond me. Unless a game is only about optimizing the cards, in which case I'm not playing a war game, obviously. It's very hard for me to do that kind of thing. You know, I can kind of... With CDGs, I can handle the, hey, do I want to play this for the event and give up a 3-point card or whatever? But here, I'm really juggling a complicated card management problem. And that's just not my taste. Defending in battle, double Ghibelline archery hits, adding hits as bowman, added hits as bowman, not crossbow, which means no modifier. And camp attack may play in battle. Round 1, take 2 assets from each enemy lord there as spoils, then remove 2 more each. I think they actually have a copy of this. Not getting any exciting, you know, just event cards, which are the ones you really don't want to be hoarding here. Holds, never going to remember to play the holds anyway, right? All right, we got some payment issues going on here. Let's look at the Guelphs first. So Firenze is not about to go, but I think the commune is in a lot of trouble if I don't pay it off. That would be a buck for the commune. I don't have any bucks. If I don't have any bucks, I'm in a lot of trouble because we are going to still have Firenze himself, and we're going to have this butthead. And that's about all we're going to have left after I disband. Let's go take a look at him. We were looking at keeping people alive. He was laden. Did I screw up? No, I didn't. He was laden. So here's the thing. I moved him by mistake. It was supposed to be him, and he's got loot, and that's why I had that situation. So Provenzano is going to go away if I don't pay. I might as well pay. I don't, except for cycling issues, I don't really see a reason not to pay. When I'm talking about cycling issues, what I mean is if I get him back on the calendar, he'll come in quicker. right? He'll come back quicker. So if he's kind of weak, I might want to discard him. But he's at full strength, and he might last the entire game. However, he won't be able to do as much because I'll have to tax and stuff. So, that's a mixed thing. Astenberg, I definitely want to spend the loot. That's one of the reasons why I'm in a fortress, not necessarily my home. And all he is this. But I want to get his loot off him so that he's mobile. Okay, now we disband the Guelph army. I missed something. Luca. Luca has money. We'll pay him off. He's doing something useful. Okay, now we'll disband the Guelph army. Colle and Arezzo are just gone. Arezzo was my supply source, so that's a problem, right? I'm in deep shit. Okay, let us do Firenze first, who has this lord who's not available, or this vassal who's not available. He would take these two forces away. I don't have either of them, so he's just going to go over here and say I can't remuster him. Not that I can remuster anything this turn, so I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But it has no effect on anything. I have no carts here and 2 provender. That's kind of interesting. And I'm not able to muster. Oh boy, am I in trouble. God. Okay. The other side of it is all this. Well, what I find kind of interesting is this thing does not disappear. His core forces don't disappear. So he's actually going to still have these 2 cards with him, which I wasn't counting on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, my special card becomes a lot less valuable now. Armigeri, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, that's all my Armigeri, as it should be. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. I lose more than I have, but I don't have to lose anything else because of that. But as an added bonus, I get to lose my feed marker, because all I have left is 1 Cavaliere. These, I believe, are all pushed 2 turns out. I gotta check that because they're special. Why would they have the service otherwise? I can't think of a good reason. I'm an idiot. These don't go on the board. Croce special values and turncoats. No, it's just the Carroccio. That's this. So these are affected by it. Yeah, I had to look up. So the only place special vassals are marked in is 3.52, which is how you get them through the call to arms, and how you get them through the regular muster process if they get somehow taken. Oh, if you don't take them initially, I guess. But yeah, these came off the board, and as far as I can see, they're all going to show up. But they show up like this. They will be remusterable very, very quickly. So this is all that happens. And I do not lose the commune. So I have 2 lords here still, which is not enough to successfully siege Siena. My Fettuccine affects my 1 knight. I would kind of like to see Firenze disband, actually, at this point. He's pretty damn useless. So that might be happening just due to starvation or something. But I don't have any money. I'm not going to be able to get any money. I could get loot or something, but I don't see trying to keep him alive. And no disbands over here, which means we go to muster. We have 1 lord we can muster back here. That could be useful. However, it could also just be a distraction in the sense that this guy could shift over. But oh look, Sienna is like saved. And it's worse than that because these troops are here, which means I get an automatic muster of Sienna. Well, I get an automatic muster roll for Sienna, but or I get to try to levy him, but it's not that big a deal because he was available anyway. I looked through the deck of cards. I don't see anything here. I'm going to talk a little bit about other things, though. I'm choosing not to go with him. I think he's just going to distract from the cards I want to play. I'm only allowed to play 6 cards in the summer. That's 3 and 3. Sounds good to me. Of course, by putting him out on one turn, I can levy on the next, but I have no more lords available for quite some time. It's possible Firenze could show up earlier, but that doesn't really help me. He's not going to show up anywhere near that. The only thing that's showing up near that is Arezzo, and I may time, to try to get them in at about the same time. Maybe go for him a turn early, but right now I don't want to do that. The reason I might want to do it is for assurance that I don't lose all my lords, always maintaining a nice number of lords. Plus, he would give me more levy, where if I had other lords to levy, I would get more rolls. But again, not an issue right now. So, I'm not going to go for him yet. What I did notice, though, is I have no troops on him, which, if that was actually the case, I just forgot to put them out, because he hasn't done a damn thing, so he wouldn't have lost them. But if that was actually the case, I probably, he would have disbanded. I'm going to grab me at least one more cart. I want to grab some troops. I don't believe I'm going to be very far along, so I'm going to still be in my own territory because I'm planning on heading over towards Lucca there and give him reinforcements. I didn't see any cards I really wanted. The raid ones might have been useful, but I feel like I need a numerical parity with whatever he's got. I don't know what his troops are, really. That's one of the issues. But I know mine are shit low. So I do probably want to muster troops, but this isn't the turn to do it because he's not going to be in range. And it takes longer to walk. It's a slower process to walk because of the extra food that you have to eat. And having more carts is good, although I'm going to eat a cart at the end of each turn. So I guess that is the entirety of my levy capability, because the other 2 are stuck in siege. Get over here. Let me think. I can plan my turn, and also I don't know what's going on here, right? I'm gonna try to muster Siena. I'm gonna try to muster Pisa. But I'm looking for cards that I might want at the same time. But my plan may be to try to catch these guys. But if these guys run away as they're going to, my plan may switch to trying to move in this direction. However, right now I'm looking at this direction, which means this is iffy. I'll have to roll a die to take this, because the question is, how flexible do I think my situation is? If I knew exactly what he had over here, I'd know he's leaving, which would mean, yeah, I could gather up and siege San Miniato. But I have the feeling that the Ghibelline player would be focusing on save Siena first, although saving Pisa is important too. However, putting a lord in each of these kind of saves them, but destroying this force would be of some value. Pope in a pocket. But there was something else I wanted to say. And I, for the life of me, can't remember what it is. but I may be mustering troops as well. Simply because, yes, I think I have to fight a battle there. And again, I may roll a die on that as well, but I think I'm almost certain not to roll that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I was looking up tax, because I'm thinking, if Siena shows up here, Pisa shows up over there, I could tax with these lords, right? And I look here, so from prior games I remember tax can only be done in an unbesieged location. But this game has some weirdnesses about siege and podesta and stuff like that. And I look here, it just says add own seat uses entire card. There's no requirement, which there should be, not to besiege. Huh, this is interesting. Pass looks like it allows you to drop a siege marker. That's something I didn't realize. I'm going to have to look that up too. But I looked in the rules, and tax, yeah, it can only be done in an unbesieged location, which makes sense. But because otherwise there's no way to, like, starve someone out. I'm not sure how much of a chance there is of starving someone out anyway, but, well, no, because if you get their lord off the map, you can then siege the location. I don't know what the fuck this is. Obviously you wouldn't be putting a siege marker down if you're besieged. I think this is just to say, even if you're besieged, it's like a picture that shows you that. Sallying besieged lord, they have this symbol there. So this is the requirements here, but here it does not say at own unbesieged seat. Maybe only things that have a siege can be done if you're under siege. That looks to be the case. It's just, I think they use different. Sorry, something outside is getting into my nose. I think they used a different symbology on this other, but then they have like besieging Lord Boop. Yeah, you don't know. You know, it's like, what the hell? Yellow Ghibelline means that you're the defending character in a siege, and Guelph means you're the one who's conducting the siege somehow. Using the icons like that is not helping me at all. It actually caused confusion. I had to look up the two references to pass. Neither one says anything about, like, being able to put siege markers if you pass, which is what this kind of seemed to me. But now I see this is requirements. So, and it just says do nothing, and I can do nothing. But again, the layout of this thing confuses me in a way that I don't feel like Almoravid or Nevsky, for that matter, did. I don't. Again, it's been a while since I played Nevsky. 2 years, whatever. I played it right around when my wife died. So, 2.5 years. Whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, back to whatever the fuck I'm doing. Getting myself distracted. And alright, so the key for me right now is to get these so that neither city falls. Siena's, I think, the more important one. So I'm going to spend an action off. Oh. I'll spend an action off Provenzano first to try to get Siena. Siena, luckily, is easy to bring in. So that's one of my actions. Put marker down. And then I'm going to do Astonburg, to try to get Pisa. Now, Pisa's harder to get in. I had to check to see if I do have to roll. And I do. That's a no. I'm going to go back to Provenzano at this point, because I want to take carts or something there, more likely. Okay, now I get this. That gets me to, I have 1 point left. It's a card that gives additional levy if you're at home. That would help him, I think, but I didn't find it. I'm interested in these cards. So now I have Pisa and Siena are both going to be on the board. I'll set them up in a bit. They can't levy or anything. What do I want to do? So I'm counting on having to deal with this. This is very valuable for both of my forces if I'm outnumbered. But these, Siena's kind of small. However, I'm only facing one lord here, but I'm facing that massive stack. However, I saw that all his things came off the calendar. Again, they wouldn't go anywhere. Like, so this is a difference in play, but I feel like additional information is present. Let me swap batteries and I'll get to it. As a player, I have the same game information in either case, right? If I'm playing with the special vassal rules, all these guys are on the board. I know precisely when they disband, etc. And I see that Firenze does not have the troops anymore. And I'm going to play with that information because that's what another player would have. If I was playing with hidden forces, these would not be there. They would be up here. But I know how big that force was. So I would actually know, I would simply know that these hadn't left him, right? So no matter where these things are, there's no hidden information about them. But right now I know that that big force under the Firenze commune is gone and that this is probably pretty weak. I've faced these in combat, so I've seen them and I know what the force sizes are. For these, I also know their force size. This is where there's a difference. This is where there's information that I wouldn't have. These guys could have levied. And if they were behind the screen, hidden, I wouldn't know what he levied. So I would not know that he has troops or not. But if I play with the optional vassal rule, these things will be on the board and I will know that he levied those additional troops. So there's different amounts of information in different cases. Like here, because I did face them in combat, I know everything there is to know. Here, I do not know everything there is to know. Given that I don't know everything there is to know, I want to take the Sovraintente, which makes my militia improve to crossbow times 1 armigeri. Now, in both cases, I'm looking at a big old city, which has no militia. What the hell? Ghibelline Castle. I don't care about that. Okay, that's gone. Question is whether I take this. Oh, 1 or 2 I'll grab it, or I'll consider grabbing it. Okay. So now I'm thinking about, these guys may not be within reach of me. And then it becomes more important for me to try to save Pisa and capture other places. And maybe I capture places down here instead as well, or instead. Provenzano has a decent amount of carts. He doesn't have a capability to get much supply. So I'm running from here. What did we decide? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm able to get one supply off my cart at best anyway. So I'm going to spend his last point, and now we're back up to 3. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should put the numbers on to begin with, but and then Astonberg has an extra point. I have a shit ton of carts. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this instead. Right? Oh no, he's already... Yeah, he's got problems with food, and I don't know what's going on. 2, 4, 6. I'll do this, indeed. But here, I have 4, which means if I put this out, I get a little bit more troop. That's a gray or a brown. I can't tell. It's a man-at-arms. I always have trouble with some color or another in this set of wooden pieces. Used to be between the knights and the men-at-arms. Now, the coloring on these counters is giving me trouble, as opposed to the wooden pieces themselves, information-wise. So that's one of these two. What do I want to do with the other one? There's not a lot of choices. I could grab a cart or something, but I'll just grab myself another cart because that gives me the capability to move a little faster. That eats these up. There will be no call to arms because no cards came out that do it. I'm not going to look it up, and we're not 4 points apart. We are 3 points apart exactly. Which means we go over to the campaign, but I got to set those guys up. That's what we've got. Pisa has more troops than Siena does, which is kind of interesting, but they don't have a commune, so it kind of makes up, like Siena's commune makes up for a lot. Florence's commune is much more powerful, though. So, however you want to do that. These guys show up under siege. They have coins, carts, etc. That makes them a lot harder to deal with. I'd have to storm to get it. But there's something new. What's up with this? Boatses. So I look up the thing for ships. The only thing that it lists is here, where they show this. And then in the notes, lords use transport to acquire and move provender, 4.3, 4.6, and ships to sail. So we're going to have to look those up because I don't know them. So 4.3, 4.6. 4.3 is March. We should see something about sailing here. So bypass stops you from moving. That's true in all the games, but I wasn't positive about that. So you can't just bypass and keep bypassing. You have to start a command card when you draw. However, I'm not seeing anything under March that has to do with boats, and I'm not sure I'd expect to. So that's an issue. However, it sent me there, but because, okay, transport is carts and ships. And then it says they use transport to acquire and move provender. 4.3. This is going to be moving provender, so that may be specified under sail. So then I look for 4.6. Now 4.3 is a huge section, right? Supply. To add provender, you must have or share at least one cart per provender for each intervening wave. Doesn't appear to be that you can add provender with ships, except here it does. Add provender. The active lord adds provender to his mat as follows within transport. unless the season is winter, 1 per ship on Pisa's map. 1 per size of each stronghold seat used, plus 1 per outpost seat. Oh, that's interesting. So those outposts only produce 1. So I've been overfeeding Guido, I think. Well, I don't know if I drew any provender. He doesn't have any on him, so I'm assuming I didn't yet. But I thought I was able to pull like 4 from there, and I can't. Oops. Probably would have gotten rid of carts. 1 per ship on Pisa's map, if the Podesta of Pisa or a lord sharing with him. And a source is a port. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. What are supply sources? Because my understanding was it had to be to your own seat, not a vassal seat, and an unruined stronghold or outpost, or to a port if using ships. Okay, so that means, and I need this under here so I hold my page so I can find sailing. Oh, sailing's under 4.7, I think. Yeah, there it is. That means I can use this as a supply source and get 1 per ship from it, even though it's not a seat, right? And a source is a port. Yeah. So I could use a source that is a seat or a source that's a port, and that can be done with anybody who's sharing with Pisa in the same space as them. They can use the Pisans' boats, which is very powerful. And that would be in addition to any outpost, to any seat that I'm looking at. All right. Now sail, if Podesta of Pisa is at a friendly unbesieged port in any season except winter, they can use all actions of a command card to move directly to any other port. He can do so as a lieutenant with a lower lord. Before moving, he must have 1 ship per horse unit, plus 1 ship per provender, plus 2 ships per loot that are to move. It doesn't look like an easy thing. Right now, I'm short, but if I dropped a provender, I could travel, and I could slide all the way down here or something. Doesn't sound too exciting, though. I doubt that I'll be doing that much. But in terms of supply, if I stay along the coastal areas, or along this river, I could sail up that river. How does that work? To any other port. Yeah, so I don't have to pass. This isn't treated as ways. The fortresses aren't going to matter to me. So I could sail all the way up to Florence from Pisa. I'm trying to remember. It's not Machiavelli, I don't think, but it may be. There is some game where Florence and Pisa have some sort of special relation in terms of movement. And it may be Machiavelli, but that would be really weird, where there's like intervening space, but they can move directly from one to the other if they control both or something like that. I don't know. Some weird little rule like that. Just sticking in my mind, but it would represent that river line there. So yeah, that's interesting. Of course, I don't have the capacity to transport, but if I do mustering, I can take ships instead of carts, and those will help me in a number of ways, but maybe be less flexible across the board. So what am I looking at now? I kept this because of 4.73. Good enough. And we got no call to arms this turn. Oh, shit. I got this on the campaign. Is that wrong? Did I just flip that? I don't know what I did. I think I flipped it just now. Because everything moved out of here. So it had to be that whole pile was there. I may have just moved it in on the campaign or flipped it accidentally, but maybe I flipped it just now. So that's going to put us on the campaign, and Yeah, I'm kind of punch drunk right now. That's life. The personal good news, I guess. I got my reprieve from jury duty. Expected. They almost always say you don't have to come in, but it's just so obnoxious because it honestly it ate up a month. You know, my months fly by no matter what. So it's not like I was spending all my time worrying about this, but a lot of my time was spent on angst about it. It's just the nature of these kind of things. It's like taxes takes me a quarter of a year where I'm like frozen, can't do anything. Of course, there's things that had me frozen before that I've just blocked off and said, fuck it, I'm not dealing with, like my wife's inheritance. uh, a significant amount of money, whatever. Anyway, on to the campaign here. We got 7 cards this turn. For the Guelphs, I picked Firenze first, get him out of Siena. He's not in any position to do an assault. I'm stuck without being able to assault anything, right? Because my forces are too small to do so. I'm doing Luca next to grab some supplies. Luca has no supplies. If something bad happens, like I'm attacked with a Sally or whatever, it's just not gonna it's not gonna go well for me. I'm gonna have a feed problem that's gonna kick things back. Sure, I have a coin, but you know, I'd rather not spend it. I go to Firenze again to get him either out of there, supply him, whatever. He's got a couple of provender. That's enough to cover what little force he has. What I really want to do is get him disbanded. That happens next turn. He's got no money. He's got nothing. No troops. He might as well. Oh, these all flip over. They're actually available. And so I could conceivably use commands to bring the commune back up to strength, but doing it through any means other than call to arms just feels like a real waste. I don't know what all this shit is for. The communes have that. I don't know what it's meant to signify. I just don't know. Does it include Lucca? It does not include Lucca. If I look at Firenze, though, we only have 3 there. And they're not necessarily the same ones. Like some of them are vassal lords and whatnot. I don't even know who some of these people are. Oh, these may be the vassals of this. I don't know what these symbols mean. I have no idea. They're not lords who are in the game. Maybe it explains it somewhere. They're also kind of not important as far as I can tell. Okay, so yeah, I did Lucas Supply. I do Firenze to get him further out away or something. I just don't want him to be pursued. Maybe I should hold off and not move twice or whatever, but I may need food. Then I'm doing 2 Guidos, get him closer, do another Firenze. Why? I don't know. I have 7 cards and 3 lords. And then another Guido to pull him maybe closer or actually into Pisa. Probably don't want to get him in because I probably want to raise some forces and I'm not able to muster in the situation I'm in. I'm not able to force a surrender in the situation I'm in. All I can do, like, I could conceivably take away supplies from these guys that I'm sieging, but they just showed up. They have resources to begin with, and I can look and see what they have. I also can't face this in a field battle in conjunction with one of those forces. So that's what I'm going with them. And we will take a look at the Ghibellines next. Pause a little bit on the Ghibelline choices because I had to look up and I had to find it. I looked under the Sally rules because I figured there would be some reference there. There isn't, but what there is here under, Jesus, under battle, Sally is covered in places, but under battle, I was able to find this, which is the relief sally. When a side approaches a locale where it is also besieged, besieged lords can join in the attack for no command actions. And these are going to be attacking from both directions, basically, which is kind of a weird situation. We'll look at it in detail because I think we need to. But I wanted to make sure that was the case because I can't bring these guys together. There's no commander, which means one of these forces can attack, but it can do so in conjunction with Siena. That seems like a good idea. I look at the forces and Astenberg's the best. So I'm going to actually fire him off first because I do kind of know what's here. Be a little flexible with this. Astenberg has a lot of movement. So I can do a gather goods if I want, but I don't really want to because I'm traveling at full capacity here. So I could go 1, 2. That leaves me one extra move that I kind of waste. But I go in there, I fight the battle, great, that does that. I do a supply with him because he's kind of close to his home areas. Has 3 commands, so I should be able to pull a decent amount of supplies, more than I need. Then I move Siena. Now, where's Siena going? This is the big question. I could send him up this way to deal with Provenzano, or I could send him to siege, one of these areas that I'm already losing. And the real question is, how much am I worried about Pisa and losing that? And how much am I worried about these areas? I have a couple of lords up here that I can levy very shortly that show up in Siena and then down here, which could handle this situation if need be. I'm being flexible. I counted it this way and was happy with it, and I feel like I'm happy with it in this direction almost no matter what. So yeah, so we did move, supply, move. 2 more actions, which I don't know what they're going to be. They might be siege actions. Siena doesn't have any cards, which is a shame. And then another Astenberg for supplies. And obviously this can all change. And a Provenzano, I don't know what I'm going to do with Provenzano, but if I'm heading up this way, he may well be joining my force or providing supplies. Well, he's not going to provide much in supplies. So does this make sense? If I go this way, 1, 2, 1, 2, I could hit there and support that. I could launch a siege there. He's got an advantage in dropping siege markers if I head up that way. I don't think I want to. I think I want to end my turn in a place I can levy unless I'm sieging down here. But anyway, I have an extra card. I didn't want to use a treachery because I don't know how much I'm going to be interfered with. I don't want to risk one. There's kind of a, you can go either way, right? If you put a treachery card, let's say I threw a, I don't know, Astenberg or whatever. If I'm next to a location like this, and there are no Guelphs next to it, I can take that. If there are Guelphs operating in the area, I can try to get next to them and try to steal one of their, do a turncoat action on them. So there is that possibility. I didn't want to go that route. I feel like the treachery is too iffy, and coin is kind of rare. I don't have a hell of a lot. Siena's got 2. That's, well, Astenberg has 1 as well, but Siena just came in with some and doesn't need it right away. So let's open up. We were going to go Friends. Friends has supplies. He's not laden. He's going with this. Command of 2. So 1, 2 back to here, and we feed. That lifts the siege. And I think I expressed this, but there are several things in my way in siege. If this was empty, I would have continued a siege on it because I have a fair chance of taking it, even though I don't have much in the way of troops. But it's not empty. I can't take it by surrender. The only way I can take it is by either assaulting, which I don't feel like I can succeed at, or starving Sienna out so he's out of provender and his marker ends up going back due to starvation, and he's out of money so that he can't recharge, because they can eat money if they don't have food. I get why they can eat loot. I'm not quite sure why they can eat coins. Okay. Astenberg, okay. Well, this changed everything, right? I was planning on relieving the siege. I didn't know Firenze was going to run away right away. Oh, gosh. I don't know what this means. My next card is another Astenberg. He gets 3 actions. 1, 2, I'm unladen. I do a supply action. I get these 4 and 2 more from here. So I get 6 provender off of this. I don't know if I can carry all this. Certainly not unladen, I can't. And now I have to eat. Not sure it's what I want to do, but at least it gathers my forces. Come back here. We get a Luca. Luca's plan was to grab supplies here. Luca has 4 carts. Costs me 2 per to haul stuff, which means I can only haul 2 supply per action. I only have 2 actions, so I'll grab myself 4 supply. How about I don't grab that kind of supply? Is 2 supply good enough? Might be. Because I can ravage. Ravage as my second action. Costs, oh fuck. Costs 2 actions if it's a town or city. Wow. Well, I can't. I may have cheated. That is different from Almoravid. All right. Astenberg again. Can't move. I'm at a seat, though. I have plenty of provender. I'm going to tax. Firenze gets to go again. I'm out of food. I don't need to supply right away, which means I can move. I have a moved thought on me. Now, I only have 2 carts. Ooh, that's not going to do. I'm going to forage. That's not very good. I'm in summer, which means that I would just get 1 provender. There's no big bonus there. So I will use 2 forages, and I'm at a friendly stronghold, so I get a couple of provender. Doesn't really make much difference. Sienna. All right. I can't just run through the castle. I have plenty of food. Either one of these will cost me 2 actions to move to, because I will be laden. But I can actually carry everything that I have. Pisa's not here with us. It's Astenberg and Sienna. I have 6 carts and 8, 9, 10, 11 provender. So the question then becomes, what do I want to do? Do I want to move to here, siege it, and be in a position where I can threaten a field battle? A field battle doesn't mean much. But this is an easier place to siege. Or do I go for the more important town? I think I'm going to go for this more flexible location here. So that cost me 2 movement. I get there, I get my siege marker. There's nothing else that happens. And then I have to feed both armies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just making sure. When there's a lot of pieces there and I don't have a marker, I get worried. Guido. I don't know what Guido's up to. Guido has some food. He's definitely not overburdened. He only has a command rating of 2. I can only pull 1 food through the supply action at any one time. Oh, I have no food. Okay. Well, that makes life easy. Yeah, I'm going to take 2 provender and not spend my provender that way again. Siena. Do I want to... I don't really want to storm the damn thing. It's only a castle. Oh, shit. I bet you I had something good. They both have this. That would cause problems. I have this play upon besieging a stormhold. Yeah, I had this. I could have done this. If I was going to storm, that's what I would have done. Since I didn't remember I had the card. I definitely don't want to storm it without the advantage. Can't remember hold cards. It's a problem with any game that has fistfuls of, you know, cards that you have to remember. It's worse when I'm playing solo, but it's still pretty bad when I'm playing opposed. I'm just not good at it. Okay, so I will siege. I don't get lucky. I only get 1 siege marker here. And I have to feed. And I don't really know how I feel. Like, storming might not have been the good idea, because I don't have that many troops. The castle is fairly weak. It has a man-at-arms, a militia, and a cavaliere. Let's say capybara. Okay, so we're done. We go Guido again. Guido moves this time. 1, 2. Not overloaded. Feed. Siena again. Siege again, now at 2. Doesn't work. We get a 3rd siege marker because we have at least as many as the location. And we got a feed, and Astenberg is going to take care of the feeding now. Okay. Firenze gets to go again. I'm not thrilled with the position I'm in. Not sure it matters much. I had decided to run away because I didn't want to fight the battle. So I'll keep running. There goes my food. Is this too dangerous? I have 2 carts. See, I'm trying to fall back to where I can supply. It really kind of doesn't matter. But I'm a little worried. I was here. 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. I use my food. Screw it. I'm planning on dissipating. Astenberg. Astenberg will continue the siege. We're at a 3 now. Almost. Nope. We get another siege marker, because again, we're still over. It's not the amount of cards we have here, but I have to feed twice for the 2 lords there. Didn't get anything. Last Guelph card is another Guido. Guido's short on food. He's got a shitload of cards. One, 2. 3, 4, 3, 4. I could be in one of these two locations. And then I would be 1, 2, 3, 4 away. I could only grab 1 food per turn if I do that. I have such a shitload of carts. I'm going to take both my actions to grab food. I can't grab it from back here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So I'll just grab 2 provender and be happy with that. It's not optimal, but whatever. I just don't feel like he's very helpful unless I'm right in this corner. It's kind of like this guy down here. And a Provenzano, what the fuck does Provenzano want to do? Wasn't somebody supposed to tax? Oh, he did. He did. Provenzano kind of wants to fall back on where he lives, if he can. Of course, I have tons of provender. Tons of carts, so I could get a lot of provender off that. 1, 2, 3. At 3 per, I could get 2 provender off each run. Next turn, I will be bringing, this guy can come in down up here, actually. That's really intriguing. Am I sure of that? See, he's listed as Santa Fiora and Grosseto. He's not listed up here. Ah, I see. This is a little flying thing. This is a lion. Different shields. Okay. So that is probably a Cole shield. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Good enough. So I don't have any advantage off of trying to operate up here, which I was hoping I did. What did I say? I have 8 carts. It's going to be hard for me. I can't cut through here. Provenzano has this, but that's not good enough on its own. If I think about what troops Luca has available, it could be as many as I do. Of course, I have my Pisans, so I could probably save their ass. 8 carts. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's grab. It's 2 provender per, isn't it? Because I have 8. So I'll grab 4 provender with both actions. All right, that's the end of that. It felt like something exciting might happen, right? We're not at the end of summer. There's no ransom. Game end. Okay, we have to look at the game end rolls. I believe it's 1 to 3. On a roll of 1 to 3, the marker goes out to box 16. Nope. Still not out there. Repair, this goes away. That's fine. Haven't been growing it, no reason to. On to wastage. Elves. Guido, I think, gave up a food. Luca gave up a cart, if I did this right. Firenze gave up a card off the commune, because I'm not planning on fighting, and it wouldn't help much. And for the Podesta himself, I didn't have to give up anything over to the Ghibellines. I gave up a ship. Eating ships is better than eating food and whatnot. Siena gave a provender up, as I think did Astenberg. Getting low on provender. Oh no, I think Siena gave up a cart. I think that's all they had, cart or coin choice. But I have enough carts there. I'm close to my supply center. I'm fine. So no biggie there. And Provenzano gave up a provender because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with him. That allows me to throw cards away. And Nobody did any treachery. Gave up the Tau company, and by discarding that I had to get rid of the troop along with the counter. Why does this have a number? I don't know why this has a number. I think it... I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. Like, I think it's immune to being converted. Well, I forgot about my commands, my extra commands for Ferenz and Luca. So it wasn't doing me as much good as it should have been. Yeah, there's just so much information on the cards. This is common through the system. That's why I said when I first looked at this one, though, they're adding a layer of complexity to this, and it's just pushing it too far. It's pushing it too far. This kind of mistake I can make in any of them. There's no question of that. But I'm more likely to make it the more complex, the more complexity you overlay on the base system. Because the base system with all these cards you have to remember and everything, it's kind of like CDGs. I like my CDGs to be really, really fucking simple, to tell you the truth. Because there's too much tableau to pay attention to. I had the same problem with Europa Universalis, whatever, Populare or whatever, I don't know what it is, Power and something. I called it EU Pop. The board game that's based on the computer game of it. Which was that the game just had too many cards and things like that that you have to be aware of that make up the game state. I had this kind of problem in Magic the Gathering, right? If a battle got too big, if you had too many cards on each side, all spread out all over the place, it becomes hard to try to figure out what the fuck to do and what's going on. And I think it's one of the things that got me against. I'm looking around to see if I can find it. I don't even really remember the name, but it was a card-based science fiction type thing. Well, Race for the Galaxy is one. That had a lot of icons on it that were problematic. But, you know, when games have a huge amount of game state that's very modifiable and changeable and operates in different ways based on how the cards interact with each other, and that you have to pay attention to all kinds of cards, you know, all kinds of different pieces of information that are out there. It's very different from looking at a board, right, where you can see what's in your locality, what's actually threatening. And it's one of the reasons I like maps. Maps make it easier to understand what's threatening you and what's not in most cases. What's affecting you and what's not. But if you have all these kind of modifier cards and everything just spread out all over the fucking place, yeah, I'm going to forget them. You know, if you got a handful of cards that are face down, that are only usable in certain special cases, yeah, I'm going to forget about them. You know? Unless I'm just playing a card game. Like I said, Magic the Gathering, sure. If there's enough on the tableau, it gets hard. But that's all I'm fucking doing in the game is managing my cards, right? So it's a little bit easier. I'm not worrying about the things that give me easier access to information. Same thing with Dominion. All I'm worrying about is the fucking cards. So I can pretty much worry about the cards. It can get overloaded, but it generally won't. But you start getting into these kind of Euro-style games where there's cards all over the fucking place and boards, and you got to pay attention to too many different types of input coming in, too many different sources of where your information may lie. And yeah, it's just getting beyond me. It's getting beyond me. And I've been able to deal with the Levian campaign for the most part until I hit this one. This one I feel is just a step too far. If the game was all on the board, it could be far more complex. If the game was all cards, it probably would work. But this one's adding too many layers of complexity with the treachery cards, with the die rolls on the table, all kind of shit like that. It's just making it much more painful to play than the others in the series. Anyway, I could have told you that after turn 2 when I ended up losing, you know, when the game ended because I fucked up somebody the first time I played it. But I'm more and more convinced of it the more and more of it I play, is that it's just, there's only so many ornaments you can hang on the Christmas tree before it starts looking stupid and before it just becomes too busy to make any kind of statement, right? You know, and that's what's going on here. And then when you shrink the Christmas tree down and still keep the same number of ornaments on it, and the same size for that matter, yeah, it's much worse because this map is and calendar are smaller than they are in the other games of the series. So what the fuck was I at? I don't remember. I was looking... I was talking about what cards I discarded. I decided to discard nothing over here. So that's that. This is going up. And we're on the levee over here. And yeah, this is... it's summertime. Those cards would have worked, right? And you know, I could have kept using them as people move on, but why bother? Why am I worried about these forces? I know they're weak. Let them get away, right? The move to here, I am worried about. And probably should have played something. But maybe this isn't the most vital time. I'm not saving anybody's ass by playing it. Now, when I'm talking about the bonuses from the Tau Company, yeah, that Firenze would have been doing more. Wouldn't really help. Luca would have had more supply. Do we want to give him supply? Sure, why not? What did he do? He did just one action, I think. Yeah, he only did one action. Why don't we give him one more load of supply? That seems fair. So I had 4 carts, 2. I would have gotten 2 more supply. And that wouldn't change what I ate. And we'll pretend that I got it right everywhere else. Firenze, it just doesn't matter. He was just trying to get away. He got away far enough. He's trying to leave the game now. All right, up it goes.